think the book is an epitome of contemporary and just general fiction. You know, find an issue we can face in his life or many. Grab a character or his family and put them in the middle of that chaos and watch them. Literally sit back and watch them. Observe them going from, you know, the good to bad to the worst, and learning life lessons along the way.
You want me to love you, but you don't love me now. Why should I give my heart to you? We gonna shut that motor down. I've been searching for you for a long time now, but you've left my heart's vision. Now you want me to stay in your life. That won't happen again. No, you said no. I said no. Can't blame you. No.
I like that book. I like that book. My name is Charlie Crawford. You can call me Charlie Creef, or sometimes I go by California Crawford. How y'all feeling? Let's get into the book review. So, read a book this week. It was called We Are Not Ourselves, and the book is by none other than Matthew Thomas. It's a deep book, man. It's a real deep book. A lot of critics and just people who read the book in general believe it's a great coming of age story, in a sense. A great American dream story. Got a lot of those elements and nuances and all kind of sentiments in it about just living in America and about trying to make it, you know, with the family. Of course, there's going to be issues with all families, and all families want a little piece of that American dream, you know, that little pie that they call or whatever. But anyway, it's a 620-page behemoth, as you can see right here behind me. It isn't so much plot heavy or anything like that. It's all about characters, and it's driven by the main character, Eileen, who is the mother/wife. There's the husband. The hell is his name? Ed. His name was Ed. And you know, there's the son, Connell. It's a touching book, man, because a lot of the elements that's touched here are things that anybody and everybody can relate to. Anybody who has a lot of patience with reading and, like, you know, let's say contemporary reads or just general fiction or whatever the case may be, books that just teach us a little something about life. I think you guys will get a good kick out of this book. He's only B. The app. SomeSaying.com. Born in 1941, Eileen Tamalti is raised by her Irish immigrant parents in Woodside, Queens, in an apartment where the mood swings between heartbreak and hilarity, depending on how much alcohol has been consumed. From an early age, Eileen wished that she lived somewhere else. She sets her sights on upper-class Bronxville, New York, and an American dream is born. Driven by this longing, Eileen places her stock and love in Ed Leary, a handsome young scientist, and with him begins a family. Over the years, Eileen encourages her husband to want more: a better job, better friends, a better house. It slowly becomes clear that his growing reluctance is part of a deeper, more incomprehensive psychological shift. An inescapable darkness enters their lives, and Eileen and Ed and their son Connell try desperately to hold together a semblance of the reality they have known, and to preserve against long odds an idea they have cherished of the future. What the hell is you doing? And so you heard in the summary that, you know, Eileen she had these parents who, you know, I'm sure it was some love there, but it was hard to paint it like that because their actions didn't show a lot of that. You know what I mean? The mom wanted one thing, the father wanted another thing, and they couldn't come to a compromise or even to some type of understanding where they can still love each other and sacrifice for each other. And so they lived a lot of times, you know, on other ends of the room. And Eileen, even from a young age, she had to be the adult. You know what I mean? She had to be the mediator, the one taking care of one or the other. And I remember one of the scenes in the beginning was that Eileen, it was a big deal for her to be seen walking down the street in this sort of mother and daughter pairing, this normal thing. She was happy, like, oh, people looking at us like, oh, look, there's just another normal mother and daughter pair. And it was a big deal to her, and it kind of showed you like, okay, it got to be some dysfunctionality going on in that house, and there's no judge here. There's no judge here. We all have that. Eileen grew with that, and that kind of created that sense of I need more. And I do believe that there's a symbiotic relationship between where you live and, you know what I mean, what kind of person you are, which is why some, you know, let's say low income environments and neighborhoods have all kinds of trash on the street, and you go up the road to a pretty good neighborhood and it looks like one of them Google images. The point is, she wanted to have more. She saw a nice neighborhood as, okay, potentially a nice family, but life is like this. It's like that, you know. It's just, again, that American dream, wanting more for you and your potential family or whatever. It reeked in everything, you know what I mean? That theme right there. She wanted to have a house where a clarinet, you know, blended in with the sort of ambiance of the home and not be noticed. You know what I mean? She thought that where she was living as a youngin', you know, with her two dysfunctional family members, a clarinet, a nice beautiful clarinet, will be looked at and like, oh man, what is that doing here in this place or whatever. And so again, she was just seeking for just a better life. You know, going past that though, I just think that, you know, when she got older, everything just came about status and money to her, and you'll see that's going to bleed in everything that she do. You know what I mean? Like one point she was asking her husband, after he came in about a job offer, all she wanted to know is how much are you getting paid, how much are you going to be getting paid. And a lot of us, we understand that, but the husband was trying to get her to understand, like, okay, well, what about the passion of it and the purpose of what I'm going to be doing? It's not so much about the money, but she like, how much we going to get paid? If it's exorbitant, take that job. A few characters in here that we follow, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not find one of them likable to me. I did not like Eileen's character. I didn't particularly care for Ed's character, even though I kind of see where he was going. I thought that Ed was articulate in one part of the book, but then in another one, you know what I mean, I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? And you'll see that it's understandable why he was very inarticulate at a point. But Connell was the son. He was very, 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 very mean, very, very weak-minded. He was a follower. And again, it's a book where you follow these people to become better. But right from the get-go, I didn't like any of these people. I thought that Eileen struggled with two things in this life that sort of made her a very, very difficult person. You know what I mean? I just think she was limited by two things, and that is her own upbringing, you know, and the very little attention that she got from her parents. And I thought the other thing was her inability to respect the struggle of dealing with the only hand that she was given. Instead of wishing for more or for wishing for something different, trying to thrive through your situation, especially with family. You know, she achieved professional status and even personal status, I believe, you know, with this, you know, being married and having a family, her son. But she just didn't think that her existence was ideal. You know what I mean? It can be very frustrating to someone who also comes from nothing and who have learned to be content with less and things like that. And so if you like that, you have to get into someone else's shoes. Don't be a bigot and try to understand where Eileen is coming from. But I didn't particularly think that she was a very likable character to me. That was just me. Ed was sort of it was kind of, you know, he reminded me of myself, how simple he can be and how he didn't, you know, like I said in the summer, he didn't want for too much more than what he already had. But you'll see that he was a very, very intellectual guy, very smart. He was a scientist and things of these natures. He just knew that, you know, making it, just having a house and stuff like that, which is on the cover, it's a big theme. There's a big motif. I mean, having a house, you know, having a home, very, 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 very big thing for these people in this book to obtain. And it got to be bigger, it got to be better. But Ed, he was very, very content. I like the way that she described him. She say, his ambition had never been for fancier titles and fatter paychecks. He was after something unquantifiable, philosophical, the kind of aim never properly rewarded in earthly terms. His problem came with getting older. So, you know, it said his mind had grown smaller as he bunkered himself in his ideals. And again, I'm not going to speak too much on Ed because it's going to be, you know, kind of a semi-twist going on with his character. But I would like to think that as we get older, a lot of our ways are going to be set in cement. But we want to keep an open mind because life is always evolving, things are always evolving, and we're going to have to keep up. And the son, Connell, man, I think his biggest problem is he doesn't like who he is simply because other people don't like it. I felt pity for him, but later on he started to become annoying to me. You know, at some point you start to either deal with the situation or get over it, not sulk in it for as long as he did to me and be changed negatively by it. No, I thought he was just mean to his father and mother, mainly because he had a complex and because he was a follower. And I will say this about Connor, what I did like and what you will appreciate is his journey towards maturity. It does happen in a book like this. It does happen, and it's like a breath of fresh air, and it's a relief once you get to read that. Because I will tell you, once he got grips on what's really important in life, you'll see a lot of the virtuous elements that we want in ourselves, right? They started to come out, you know what I mean? He started to become more responsible. He started to prioritize things the right way. He started to think before he acted, and he started to atone for a lot of things. But you have to go through, again, a 620-page behemoth to get to that point. And this family is like any other family, unless you're extremely blessed and you have two strong-minded and very, very patient and just wise parents right under you, and nothing goes wrong. We all gonna go through dysfunction as a family because we have to go through it individually. I think it's a lot of cultural and just societal and just family impactful moments. I'll say that. I think the problem with her and her mother, man, like them wanting the finer things in life, you know what I mean, and just not getting it. They became fed up with life. That, you know, a lot of what started that is that they just didn't have parents to teach them the importance of, you know, self-love, being content with having less, and just all you need is your family and things like that. So that if they did get these things, they wouldn't feel that incessant need to need it all in this life and have it all. When is enough, and when can a certain amount be quote unquote all? This mindset, I think, made her have this sort of force on her son to live life like this. You know what I mean? She had to push a lot of her ideas on her son, whereas you would want to nurture your son and your daughter in a way that you see their creative talents and their creative gifts or their spiritual gifts leading them on their life, and you nurture it and you mentor them a certain type of way that you think that they would benefit this life according to themselves and not you, you know, because whatever you think is best for you and you start nailing that on your son or whatever, you sort of bash his dreams, and that literally flips everything on his head, and that can be a counter effect of what you really want. It's like an author, man. Like authors, when they put their characters in a situation, if you plot it down to the T and you make them characters do what you want them to do, it's not going to feel real, because those characters are going to start fleshing themselves out in any kind of novel. No matter what kind of writer you are, you follow the characters, right? They say plot leads the book, but even a book like this, it tell you, no, characters and what they do, they're going to dictate what goes on in the story, the plot, and things like that. Just going on with the societal and the cultural impacts and family impacts, like I say, it's a bunch of life lessons in here, even if it's not pages and pages of elaboration. Don't keep on driving by with your little vape thing, man. Come on now, bro. Anyway, I like these kind of books, and don't get it twisted, I'll probably be reading a thriller or a mystery or psychological suspense next, right? Get the blood flowing. But you need books like this because, again, I can read these, and because of what they went through, I can look at my family and be like, okay, I'm not gonna go down that road. You know, I'm not gonna do this way because I'm learning from Eileen, Ed, and Connell. There's something very relaxing about the simplistic approach he takes. You know, he's very good at capturing the character's aura. You know, their being, their spirit, their personality. That not very words are needed. Again, I like these kind of books because no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what you look like, no matter what kind of situation you're in, because it's again a 620-page book and it spans over a lifetime of this family, you're able to find at least one relatable issue that you're going through, that they're going through, that you see, and you can match that up and you can apply it to your life some type of way, which is why a lot of these kind of books are classics. Despite her best efforts to climb the ladder, I think she did what a lot of parents would want for their children. You know what I mean? All our parents would want, you know, for us to have a better life than them, and she did that. You know what I mean? She definitely did that, even though the two of them, you know, Eileen and Ed, had their own their own issues. I believe it was a better situation that Connell was able to grow up in. You know, while he was able to be lazy at his age, she was basically keeping the house, you know, because her parents weren't growing up. Let's go and talk about a few takeaways. The beginning paragraph, or the beginning pages that started this entire narrative about the son and the father. And again, he say, youth is no excuse for cruelty. Man, you can tell that to a kid, but how can you make that kid understand it? But the point is, he took a moment where the boy sensed that he did something very cruel, and he made him feel it. You know, how can we get that point across to a lot of the kids, especially, you know, I wish that a lot of the violent kids had that kind of epiphany moment that he gave his son, whoever this father and son is in the beginning. I still don't know, but the point is, something that is true as that, and that could be as life-shifting at that, even at an early age. I just thought we need to pay more attention to how he did that and what the effect was, or what the potential effect was. I think another one is because of the kind of childhood and upbringing that Eileen was forced to have herself. A lot of that that forced empathy, you know, whether it's real or not, that forced empathy that she was able to have on her parents, and of course she loved them. It came down to a sentiment, which is, you cannot worry and save everybody when you have yourself to worry and save. You have to do for number one. You're gonna always be number one. You cannot let too many people run over your life with their worries and their concerns when eventually they have to do that themselves. Of course, you can lend somebody lend someone else a hand and things like that. That's healthy. That's a healthy sense of empathy. But if you have not, and it's tearing you up, then what really are you accomplishing with giving another man or another woman a hand up? You know, we tell people, we should be able to tell them, of course, care for your next man, but make sure you always care for yourself, because you do not want to be you know, too broke down by helping the next man, by helping someone else when you could have helped yourself. This one came from the idea, I believe, of you know, wanting her son to have restraint when it came to eating food and wolfing down you know, dessert and things like this. She was saying that if you can take care of that aspect, the discipline of the flesh, right, fighting the flesh, it will make you a more serious candidate and a more serious person among serious people. How disciplined can we show ourselves so that we can be more of an asset to ourselves and others down the line? How long are we going to keep up with the Joneses? You know, there was this one scene where she said that she don't want to go to a old childhood friend's home until her home was in tip-top shape. And the thing is, I don't think it never really came. The point is, who the hell cares? You know what I mean? Love yourself enough in this life to not be the best at everything and not be at the center of attention. what the hell he got, what she got, what they got in the collective of a group, what they got to do with you? You understand what I'm saying? You can be living in a mobile home, wanted to be living in a mobile home for 50 years and be the most kindest person and have a big influence on a generation. Or you can be living in this big old mansion and just sit in your front yard and see people go by, and boom, your soul basically deteriorated because of you wanting to see how, you know, people see your belongings and your material, which is going to decay, you know, not too long after yourself decay when you pass away in this earth. It's important to figure out for yourself, you know what I mean, what's important in this life, and try to either expand on that if you believe it's virtuous, or work on kicking that negativity out of your life. Because in a sense, Eileen wanting this big dream, this big let's say house or whatever, when it doesn't happen, because it usually never happens the way we plan it. Sometimes it do for people, and I understand that, whatever. But when it doesn't happen, you didn't spend all your life worrying about a thing, and you got this beautiful family with souls in them who you can impact and you can be there for, and you can literally love. Don't worry about the Joneses, the Jacksons, the Johnsons, and the Thorntons. Who the hell cares? And I think a last one is, you know, don't ignore God until you're grief stricken or old in old age. You know what I mean? Like, take him with you through your entire life if you can. You know, work on it so that we know him, when we're old, so that we done his will and things like that. Whatever your God is, whatever you believe, you're not, you know, the sun. Nothing revolves around you, no matter what you think. You die today, life is gonna go on. The sun blow up, we dead. The point is, you know, God is always gonna be there, but we need to give everything to him instead of wanting this American dream. Again, they say you need to be asleep for it to be a dream. Wake your ass up, realize you're not the center of attention. What can you say about a book like this? Everything that I just said. I gave the book a 4 out of 5 stars. You know, if you can power through 620 pages, you know what I mean, I recommend doing that over a cup of coffee every night, and really think about the story of these people's lives, and just snatch what you can take and make applicable to your own life. I say that all the time because I really believe that reading anything, my expertise and what I like to do for my enjoyment is fiction, but you can get anything out of the books that you read. I'm interested to know how the characters moved on past the situation at hand. Of course, like I said, there was something that happened in the book that was kind of a twist, and you'll read it and you'll see, like, okay, now the story really starts. And so, Mr. Thomas, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Great writer. I'm gonna look up some more books by you. I'm not sure if you wrote any other books outside of this one, but I enjoyed the book. I got a lot of life lessons out of it, and I hope my viewers here did too, if anybody ever viewed this review. And I definitely appreciate everything. I appreciate it all. So, I'm that way. So peace. Charleroi out. And now it's time to say goodbye. Won't you please come back and say hi?